Tell us a bit more about you, Hawthorne Jewelry, and just kind of tell us the journey. I know this is a family-owned business, but just kind of tell us about that dynamic and lead us through your journey of being a small business owner.
It's kind of a weird, convoluted journey because it's as much a living, breathing part of my life, my family's life. But for me, I thought the furthest away from Kearney, Nebraska is where I wanted to be when I was young. And I just throughout life, there's things that, you've made choices as a child, as a young adult, and nothing, I don't regret any choice I've ever made, but just different things that led me to different places. And I remember one day I was living in Omaha, just recently had been married, and my dad called me on the phone before cell phones were a big thing.
Yeah.
And he said he was done working at the store. He wanted to retire, and I was like, okay. And so we had a little conversation. Just to give you a little history, my grandparents were in the business. My grandpa worked for his brothers. When they decided to open the store, they bought it from a gentleman named J.D. Hawthorne. So it had been in that family for a good 70 years, and it's been in my family for just over 72 years now,
Okay.
I think. So when my dad, he was an only child, so he was kind of not forced into the business, but also forced into the business.
Right.
Back then, he grew up sleeping on the floor in the back room, as a child, because
Wow.
both of my grandparents, my grandpa and my grandma, worked together in the store. My grandma was a really, really energetic.
In this same location.
Actually, we were one door south of where we are now.
Okay. All right.
And then even before that, they had to move the store out into the middle of the street, back when there was not cars, but it was a freestanding building there for a little
Okay.
bit, and then they came back over here. And then in the early 80s, my dad was able to buy the building that we're in now.
Got it.
So we really haven't moved out of downtown Kearney at all.
Got it.
Nor have we moved really the position from where we were.
Sure.
So a lot of history. We're 142 years old right
Yeah.
now. 143 years old right now.
Yeah.
So when my dad called and said he wanted to retire, my dad is a super vivacious type of person also, but he just kind of had gotten tired of the daily grind, which
Sure.
small business is daily grind.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember hanging up the phone, and I walked away and I turned around and I picked up the phone and I said, "You can't sell the store. I got to come home." And we did. We fought back and forth for about 2 years. Certainly there's a lot of issues about being a small business owner that, as a parent now, that I understand that I'm on his side of the fence now, I would also caution my children.
Sure.
But on the other hand, there's so much reward that I tell everybody I am not employable anywhere else, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So I hope that this really works out 25
Yeah.
years later.
Yeah.
I really hope that when I'm 85 years old, I'm still coming into the store, whether or not it's to do just some menial task. My grandpa was in his mid-80s, and we just kept kind of little jobs for him to do. And,
Mm-hmm.
it just becomes a part of you.